There is an interesting pattern I see with small business owners, and it is holding back their growth and stressing them out. Welcome to Dave Talks Business.
We have Dave Kramer, the founder of All Pro Web Tools.
Dave has worn many hats over the years as a small business owner.
Well, I really feel that small business is the core of the American economy.
Amen.
So you're a business owner. Are you working more than 8 hours a day? You should hire someone to help you out. Oh, you can't afford to hire? I know exactly how to help you. You need to raise your prices. I recently participated in 2 separate interviews where the topic of pricing came up. I shared some of my pricing tips, and I think they might help you out. Check it out.
So a lot of business owners are always asking, like, hey, when should I raise my prices, or what really determines it? Is it the economy or minimum wage going up? In your opinion, when should a client of yours or any business owner out there consider adjusting their prices?
Yeah, if you look at basic economic theory, it says that when supply goes up, demand goes down, and when demand goes up, supply goes down. And what you're supposed to do in that situation is raise your prices. You think of a rare metal like gold or something like that, the supply of it is relatively small, so the price is higher. And so you want to look at that with your business. If you're finding more and more clients are coming to you and you're working late at night and you're barely making ends meet and you want to hire somebody, but you don't have the money to hire people to help you, that's a really strong indicator. Because the money that you pay to your staff comes from your customers. So if you're finding yourself working late at night trying to fulfill all the orders you've taken, it's probably a good indication that it's time to raise your prices.
Let's talk about that for a minute for pricing, because a lot of people think that, okay, I'm just going to make myself competitive, or my pricing is going to be lower than everybody else's. Now, McDonald's actually did that with their original sales. We're going to sell these burgers cheap, but we're going to sell a bunch of them. And most people don't realize that just because I'm selling something cheap or inexpensive, let's say inexpensive, unless you sell a ton of it, you're not going to be profitable. So talk to me about pricing and why it's so important.
Well, when McDonald's started, the competitive landscape was all sit-down restaurants. So the standard practice was to go in, sit down, wait a half an hour to get your food and get out. And so they created a process where you could get in, get your food in a few minutes, and then get out. And that was where the multiplier was, where they could charge a lower price, but they knew they would make it up in volume. So they had a strategy, they had a business plan. And unfortunately, as a lot of small business owners I talk to, the plan is, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to make money.
We said that before. So what is your plan? What's your business plan? Well, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to make money.
When we had a senior vice president of Center State Bank, people walk in and said, hey, I'm going to start a business. First thing out of his mouth is, let me see your business plan. I don't have it. There's the door.
And it's an interesting methodology that seems to get lost for small business owners, because they start off with low prices, they get a bunch of customers, and they get really busy, and they can't handle all the business, and then they start to lose the quality of the service or product that they've been giving for years. And what that actually does is then some of those people stop coming back and doing business with them. And so it keeps them stuck in this area where they only have a certain number of customers. But if they can keep the quality level of their product or service and continue to service more and more people over time, they're going to do better.
The challenge is, I just can't seem to make enough money. So do you then look at, okay, why is that happening and what's behind it?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many factors to it. That's why you need somebody to go in there with a strategy. Another thing that I see sometimes is that their processes are so efficient that they don't have enough money to hire help. So they're doing everything themselves, and they're the ones staying up late at night. They're working 16 hours a day. They're working 6 days a week. And, I say, well, you need to hire somebody. And then they say, well, I don't have money for that.
Well, but there is a good clause in it, because UCF have interns now that you can bring them on board, and they're just looking to get experience.
Right. That's one of the strategies that I've offered to people. And the thing is, they're not aware of all these things.
I talk to a lot of small business owners, and they say, I'd love to hire somebody, I just don't have the money for it.
Heard that a lot.
I can tell you where to get the money from your customers. Your customers is where the money comes from. So that's the case where you definitely need to raise your prices. Another thing that you can do as more and more people are coming to you because you have built up a reputation of providing a really good service, there's nothing wrong with charging more for that. And
Mhm.
there's cost of living increases, and there's
Right.
minimum wages going up. That's going to have a huge effect on it. So you can always be testing the upper limit of your prices. And I think something that I had mentioned to you before is you can always raise your prices and offer discounts to your customers.
Right.
So that's actually a nice thing to do when you do have a price increase, is to immediately send an email out to all of your customers, letting them know, hey, this year prices are going up, but if you sign up now, we're going to honor the old price for the next year, or if you use this discount code or whatever, to help them feel a little bit better about that price increase.
That's a really good way to explain that. How do you feel about beta testing new ideas at like a discount? I don't want to call it a discount, but at like an intro rate. I know you've done some beta testing back in the day because, software, but how do you organize that so that way when you release it to the public, that value is there?
Yeah, you always want to let everybody know the higher value of the product. So it's normally priced at this, and I'm
Mhm.
giving it to you for this. So I like to do that with discount codes.
You want to price yourself so that you're competitive, but you're profitable. That's obviously very important. Price yourself that are profitable. What do you tell to the individual that says, "Well, I'm going to just price myself lower, and but then I don't make any money"? What do you tell somebody about pricing?
Yeah, so I have a strategy for that. I never suggest putting your prices below market, and you should definitely have your prices actually above market, your MSRP, right? And what you can always do is you can always offer a discount. But as long as they understand what your normal price is, then you can always get back to that price, as opposed to starting your business at a lower price and then trying to raise your prices slowly over time, because there's always going to be that resistance factor from your customers. And I wrote a blog about this on my website that goes into a lot more detail on it. But it's important that you have a way, some room where you can have a discount, because that's going to be your incentive to bring in new customers. If they understand that your normal MSRP is this, they're going to have a perceived value of the services and product that you offer. So I got this when I had a girlfriend who loved to go to the outlet malls. And she would buy those really expensive purses and all this stuff. And she'd come back and she'd say, "Look at this $400 purse. I got it for 75% off." And I'm looking at the materials that make the purse, and I'm thinking, yeah, this was made overseas. It cost them a few dollars. You actually still overpaid by quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's that perceived value where, well, this is a $400 purse. Is it really a $400 purse? You got 75% off. That's a $100 purse. And that's probably the price that they were happy to sell it at in the first place.
So let's say your product is $100 and you want to test a $90 price point. Well, give a 10% coupon. And then
Right.
let's say you want to test a $80 price point. So you give a 20% coupon. And you can split test this too. You can send the 10% coupons to 10 people on your email list, and you can send the 20% to another 10 people on your email list and see the difference in the responses.
And that's a very scientific method to doing that. You have your two sample sizes, you're trying two different options with that, which I think is a really great method. Now, I know you do a lot of training with current customers about retention or selling to current customers, really appreciating them. How do you, keep everyone straight, right? Knowing who you talk to, what they do and all that, as well as understanding what demographic they come from. Are they one that's going to need that 20%, or are they one that's going to need that 10%? I mean, how do you do it?
You're definitely going to want to tag them in your CRM, and especially when they first get entered into your CRM. So if you're using a lead form on your website, you should be
Mhm.
able to tag anyone who fills out that lead form with whatever criteria of where they came from, or something about their personality or their demographic, whatever it is you want to capture.
I would like to thank both the Influencing on Camera podcast and the Check Your Six podcast shows for hosting me last month. if you would like to learn more about them and to get access to the entire show we did, I've put the links in the description below. Hey, thanks for watching. So how did I do? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have an idea for a video I should do in the future, you can put that in the comments too. I also have a free small business resource toolkit available on my website. You can find the link in the description below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And you can also subscribe right here. And there's another great video that'll help your small business right here.